back to my Mexican kitchen here in Switzerland. Today's recipe only needs 4 ingredients and it's a super yummy recipe on how to make homemade cream cheese. So let's get started. Okay, so the ingredients you need to make your cream cheese are 2 liters of whole milk, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 7 tablespoons of lemon juice, the equivalent would be 100 milliliters, 1/4 cup of heavy cream, and the equivalent would be 50 milliliters. Okay, so before we start, there's just a few things I want to point out. You're going to need a bowl, another like a strainer, anything. It's kind of like a Lego. It has to fit in there perfectly and not touch the bottom because you don't want the cheese that you make to be touching the whey, which is going to be dripping off. The cheese, I'll explain that process later, but you don't want the liquid that falls off the cheese to be touching. You want it to strain. And you also need a cheesecloth or anything which is similar, which will be helpful. Usually cheese is made with rennet, which you can find in liquid, powdered, or tablet version. Each one has its own different instructions, so if you choose to use rennet instead of the option I'm going to give you, just follow the instructions. This one, for example, for 10 liters of milk, you need 3 milliliters of this rennet, and this one doesn't need to be diluted. They add it directly to the milk. So each one is different. Just if you do choose to use rennet, be sure to follow the instructions on the rennet you buy. In my case, I'm going to be using lemon juice because that is so much easier to find no matter where you live, and it works perfectly fine. Another thing is you need whole milk. The best option is to go milk a cow, but unless you have a cow at home, the other best option is to go to the supermarket and get the fattiest option you can find in the milk section. So that said, just check, it varies from brand to brand, so just check which one you find with a high amount of fat and that will work perfect for you guys. So now to get the recipe started, you need a big pan. You're going to add your milk in there and you're going to set it to so it starts boiling. As soon as it boils, you turn it off. You add your lemon juice and you stir. It's automatically going to start separating, turning into these curdles. And you're going to let it rest for about 30 minutes so it fully does all its magic there. After the 30 minutes, then we can start with the next part. Okay, so just to make this a bit more clear, the milk you have to constantly be stirring it, otherwise it's going to stick to the bottom of your pan and you don't want that. So that's, if you paid attention in the video, I'm stirring it, it's just to avoid the sticking in the pan. The moment that you know it's right to turn it off and then add your lemon juice is when you start seeing the milk foam up. As the hotter it gets, it starts getting this foam on the top. And you can actually hear that the boiling is going to start, it starts making the sound that it's just about to boil. So as soon as you see that first bubble pop up, you just turn it off. Don't let it boil. You just, it would even be fine if you just leave it to the part where it foams. That's already really hot. That being said, it already curdled, it's separated from the whey. So what we're going to do is, like I mentioned earlier, you have the bowl with the colander, which doesn't touch the bottom. We're going to put our cheesecloth over that. And we are going to transfer all the solid parts in there. You can use a slotted spoon or whatever you have. You just want to avoid having as much liquid in here as possible. And you're going to let it rest for about 15 minutes. Here's an additional thing you can do. It's completely optional. When you make the cheese, once you are finished making the whole process, it will have a slightly tangy taste to it. But the funny thing is, once it's been in the refrigerator for a few hours, it doesn't taste lemony at all. It's just in the beginning. I don't know why the change of the taste after. But what you can do if you really want to make sure that there's no lemony taste in it, you can always rinse the cheese that you take out, the curdles, with really cold water, and like that you're absolutely sure it won't taste like lemon. But like I mentioned before, as soon as it's like turned to the texture of cream cheese that you've left it in the refrigerator for a while, it doesn't taste like lemon. So that's just optional. What we're going to do is we transfer the curdled cheese in here and we let it rest 15 minutes. We let the whey come out. The whey you can use to make ricotta cheese. If you guys don't want to throw it out, I already made a video. You can check it out. I'll leave the link. or you can just throw it out, whatever you want. So once the cheese is rested, you're going to use either this same bowl, you just throw the whey away, or another one, and you're going to use either a hand mixer or a blender, and you're going to mix it. You're going to mix until it gets nice and creamy and fluffy. It'll get very, very smooth, like smooth butter. Once it's happened, you're going to add your salt. You continue mixing and shortly add your heavy cream in there. You continue mixing, and then after that you can just scoop it up and put it in any bowl you want to use and transfer it into the refrigerator. Okay, so we're done making our homemade cream cheese, our Philadelphia style cream cheese. It is super yummy. You can eat it right now fresh made, but it's not the texture it should have yet. So if you really want it to be like cream cheese, you do have to wait a few hours or leave it overnight. I made these two I made 2 days ago. This one I added some chives to it. It is so delicious, like really, really, really super delicious. And this one is the natural one, nothing added to it. The nice thing about making cream cheese at home is that you can flavor it however you want. If you buy store-bought one, it's usually either plain or lactose-free, or there are a few more options now, but not so many. We usually like adding basil, oregano, chives, black garlic, crunchy bacon. If we want it sweet, we add confectioner sugar and cinnamon. There is so much stuff you can add. So down in the description box, I'll just add a few lists of things that we've already done in case you need any ideas to add to pimp up your homemade cream cheese. And just so you can see the texture, here, let me show you guys. Super nice and creamy. And now time to spread it. And give it a try, of course. It's super nice. Down in the description, I'll also put some links of the recipes we've already made where we use cream cheese in case you also need ideas. I hope you guys enjoy making this recipe. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. And if you do make it, don't forget to tag us, #MexMundo. See you.